Hello. Hi there, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. As always, I am so grateful for all of you that come back every week to join us for our meditation circle that we have on Tuesdays. So this week, I am carrying out the actions I have been preparing for. I am carrying out the actions I have been preparing for. So, we have a lot going on this week, astrologically. If I had other words to try to add to that intention, if it wasn't already long enough, it would be adding the words turning point in there somewhere. This is a really exciting week astrologically, in my opinion. We have a lot of kind of like turning points going on that I see. We have Jupiter in Aries. This happened this morning. Jupiter entered the sign of Aries from Pisces. We had a little bit of Jupiter in Aries earlier this year. Didn't last for long due to retrograde, but this time Jupiter is going to go through Aries, and it's just going to fly right through in direct motion. It's not going to go retrograde at all. So this is the last time we'll see Jupiter in Pisces for, I didn't look at the dates, but approximately another 12 years or so. So this is a turning point here with Jupiter coming into the sign of Aries. So if we could describe this with a couple words, expansive action. So Jupiter, the planet of expansion, the planet of wisdom, the planet of higher knowledge, religion, spirituality, has to do with things like law and travel, things like that. Expansion, worth saying it again because Jupiter expands and enlarges everything that it touches. And this is in the sign of initiation, the sign of action, the sign of motivation, the sign of drive and individuation, the sign of self-assertion. This is the sign where light and life takes over, okay? Aries is the starting point of Aries is the spring equinox. So this is when light takes over for the season. So moving from Pisces, this is a stark difference here. Pisces is a watery, feminine sign, much more emotional, in my opinion. And Aries, so Pisces is also a mutable sign. So it's flexible, it's changeable, it's moldable. Where Aries is a cardinal sign, it's a fire sign, it's much more firm and I almost said fixed, but that's talking about different signs. So it's much more sturdy and much more poised and much more confident in its position. So it's not as easily changed or impacted. So this is a turning point for a slower moving planet coming into the beginning of our zodiac again. As I said, Aries is the place of initiation, the place of birth, the place of beginnings, the place of motivation. So expansive action in the sign of Aries in your chart. That's where we're looking at. And this is going to be until the middle of May. So we have this for a little while. And then winter solstice. Happy winter solstice to all of you. So tomorrow we have the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year. It's also where we enter the sign of Capricorn in the tropical zodiac. In the tropical zodiac, there are 4 points that anchor our astrological year, the solstices and the equinoxes. So this is one of our anchoring turning points in our astrological year. We are still in the darkest part of the year, but we are now switching from the light losing half of the year into the light gaining half of the year. Still have that little bit of cold, so I got lots of water next to me. So like I said, this is changing from light losing to light gaining. Still the darkest part of the year, but slowly the light is starting to come back. We're going to slowly start to have longer days, a couple minutes at a time. So the light is going to start coming back, and this is in a literal sense and a figurative sense. Light brings life, growth, birth, and rebirth. So we can look forward to that right now. We can look forward to, even though we still have a long stretch of a dark winter, we have something that we can look forward to, and we know that spring and light is coming, right? The warmth that brings life forward. And we also have tomorrow, right around the same sign, we have a square between the sun and the sign of Jupiter. So, you see how all of these are connected here? We have all of the same like key planets playing in here. So we have a square between sun and Jupiter. And this is very much an in-your-face square that is saying like, do something, move forward, go, like just get the thing done and do what it is that you have to do, okay? When we have, okay, so this is also a turning point in Jupiter's current cycle too. We call it a synodic cycle. We mark planetary cycles based off of their interaction with the sun. So planetary cycles begin when a planet conjoins with the sun, and it's sitting right there with the sun, okay? And as it completes its cycle, it makes a path around the zodiac. When it comes back, of course the sun's moving too, but when it comes back into another conjunction with the sun, that is the end of that planet cycle, okay? So you can think, for this purpose, let's think of it kind of like a circle, and we'll have the conjunction top up here. There's 4 main points in a planet's cycle. So you have the conjunction, which is like the seeding point, it's the start of the cycle, right? And then you have the first square, which is 90 degrees, so you'll have a 90-degree angle. That is the opening square, so that's the opening challenges, the opening scruff. And then you have the opposition, so sun here, and we'll use Jupiter in this point, okay? So they were both right here next to each other. We were in a conjunction. This was the starting point of Jupiter's cycle, and then we'll keep this. This is the sun, Jupiter, coming to a 90-degree angle, which is the opening square, and then it comes into the opposition, which is 180 degrees. That's when it's opposite from each other, okay? And then we have what's called the closing square, which is where we are at right now. So Jupiter is coming into its closing square with the sun. And this is why I say it's an in-your-face, like, go forward, move, do something square, because it's coming towards the end of the cycle. So this is a turning point in Jupiter's cycle too. And to kind of make it a little more in more familiar terms, you could consider the closing square to be kind of like the third quarter moon in the moon phases. A lot more people are more familiar with that. So you could kind of relate it to that. It's like the last quarter of the cycle of Jupiter and the sun, okay? So we have these turning points going on right now. We have the sun and Jupiter conjunction, or square, which is a turning point for Jupiter. As Jupiter enters the first sign of the zodiac, enters Aries, enters the initiator sign, and we have winter solstice, we have the starting of Capricorn season, we have the start of the light gaining part of the year, where we can look forward to this light coming back and life coming back to the surface in regrowth. And this, like I said, this is in a figurative and a literal term. The symbolism and the figurativeness of astrology is what really drew me in the beginning, and that's what draws me to an ancient astrology view, which is based in the light gaining and light losing periods of time, is because I've always held symbolism very close to me, especially as like a metaphysical practicer. So seeing symbolisms and seeing signs and seeing things around us that are relevant and show us our path, things like that, always just kind of resonated well with me. And that is exactly what the astrological wheel represents. There is so much, it's all symbolism. So we're in the dark half of the year, but we've been in this dark losing half of the year, okay? Now we're going to be going into the light gaining half of the year. So with all of these turning points at the same time, to me, it kind of feels like we're tying up loose ends before something new, before a new phase or a new chapter or whatever that is for you. It's different for everybody, but as we're talking about this and we're coming back every week, I'm sure you already know exactly what it is that you have been working through. See, this Jupiter cycle began last March, and I'm not exactly sure when the first square was, but I believe the opposition was in September. And now we're coming up to the closing square, so you can kind of look at that time frame and kind of see where the Sun and Jupiter have been working in your life and working for you, and where they've been kind of impacting you. So like I said, we have all of these turning points, and it feels like we're just tying things up and we're closing things in. We're in, oh, excuse me, just a second. Unprofessional, sorry. Okay. All right, sorry about that. So, turning points, right? Tying up loose ends. We're still in the dark half of the year, but we're coming out of this dark losing period. And I really feel that there's a lot that has come up within this light losing time of the year, especially this fall, especially since the eclipse. We had a lot come up with the eclipses for all of us, lots of Venus and Mercury things, right? We've been working through this every week here on our meditation. Things to deal with our mind, our heart desires, wants, needs, perceptions. I'm sure that resonates with all of you on some sort of level. There's a lot that has been come forward, and there's been a lot of processing that has been done, a lot of mental work, and that's the first step. But now I am carrying out the actions that I have been preparing for. So that's where we're at. There's still action to be taken, but you have done the work and you've prepared for it. So now you can take the actions that are needed. And I find this to be a very Capricornian type thought, because Capricorn is a very serious, can be a very serious sign, but it's because it's very forward thinking and it's goal oriented and it knows where it has to go. So Capricorn season, it's the middle of winter. You know that spring is coming. It's not here yet. You have to survive the rest of the winter. You have to make it through. You have to stay warm. You have to keep yourself provided for, yourself and your family, but you know that it's coming. You know that light is coming, and you know that spring is going to be coming eventually. So it's very forward focused, and that's where we are now. So Capricorn is not afraid to take action. It's not afraid to do what it has to do, sometimes by pretty much any means, for the sake of the goal, sake of the end process. Okay? So think about all of these things that you've been bringing forward. Think about where the Sun and Jupiter have been interacting in your life this year. And we are now going to take action to bring forth not only the light, but bring forth our light as well. When I was thinking about the Sun and Jupiter, I couldn't help but just really be amazed by thinking of the interactions of the two planets. So, to the ancients, Sun was literally the god, right? Sun brought life, it rose every day, and Sun literally represents God source. Jupiter is Zeus. Jupiter is the god of gods. So we have our higher self, our soul, our part of God, the Sun, and we have Jupiter, the god of gods. So I don't know what you want to call it, the mind of God, the heart of God. Those start, I don't know which, if you want to relate that to a certain sign or what, but I think if we're going to look at planets, I think Jupiter is definitely it. Jupiter is beyond the physical realm. It is beyond Saturn, which is the bridge between the material and the spiritual world. And Saturn is ruled by Capricorn. Look at all that. See? It all just wraps right back around. So, I am carrying out the actions I have been preparing for. And while I light our intentional candle, I want you to think about the preparation that you've done for the direction that you're heading. I want you to think about our intention, and I want you to personalize it. And I want you to think about the work that you've already put in. Because when we give ourselves credit for what we've already done, then it's easier to move forward with something else. Okay? Give ourselves a little grace, give ourselves a little pat on the back. So, you have done the work, the preparation work. And you are ready to take the actions that you have been preparing for. Hey Jasmine, it's good to see you. Happy solstice and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and to everybody. There are so many holidays this time of year. So many spiritual, religious holidays, so many celebrations. And I think there's a lot to celebrate this time of year. And there's a lot to celebrate right now because of all the work that we've been doing. So go ahead and settle yourself in. Find a nice comfortable seat. And as you think about the intention, I am carrying out the actions I have been preparing for. Take a nice deep breath in. We're going to start right off the bat with a nice full deep breath, bringing in lots and lots of energy. And as you exhale, push out whatever it is you need to release. And take another deep breath in together. And this time when you exhale, I want you to hear your breath. I'm not going to tell you what that needs to look like, but I want you to feel and I want you to hear your exhale. Go ahead and do it one more time. If you want to breathe out through your nose or through your mouth, either way is fine, whatever feels most comfortable. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathing in positivity and love and strength and motivation. And exhaling stress, worries, tension, things that are holding you back, conditionings, restrictions. Remember, those can be put on ourselves, by others, by circumstance. And I want you to keep this motion of breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to move your air. I want you to really feel the air coming in as you breathe in. And as you exhale, I really want you to feel that air going out. We're going to bring in a little extra light here today, because that's where we're at. So keep that process of breathing in and breathing out. And if you're able to start to think about this intention, go ahead and do so. If it's too much to think about the intention while you're breathing, just focus on your breathing. That's okay. But if you're able to start thinking about this intention, and as you breathe in, and as you take each breath in, I want you to fill yourself up with the thoughts of all of the action, all of the preparation, and everything that you've went through. I want you to just take a nice big deep breath in of strength. I can pretty much guarantee that almost all of us have went through something in the last 6 months, whether it seems like something large or something small, whether it seems like our struggles are big or small compared to others. That's a relative term. Our struggles are our struggles. And as you exhale, I want you to release all of the blockages that stand in your way. I want you to release anything that is holding on to you that no longer serves you. Breathing in strength and breathing out resistance. Breathing in confidence and breathing out worry. Now, as you take in one last breath in and fill yourself up with a little bit more strength, we're going to go within ourselves and we're going to go within our heart space. If it helps to put your hands actually over your chest and over your heart, feel free to do so. I like to feel like I'm actually hugging my heart. So I put my hands on my chest and I push my thumb fingertips and my outer hand just kind of into my chest. And we are just giving ourselves some love. We're giving ourselves some space. We jumped right into that breath, so we're just gonna stay here for a moment while we continue our breathing. And now is the time to bring any other intentions or any other people or causes or anything else that you want to bring into this healing circle. Anything else that you feel needs extra love. You can say the names out loud or you can think them. Either way works. I have intentions for a few special people. I have a few family members that need love in the health arena. I have a very beloved person that I have met through an online community that needs some health love right now. We have somebody part of this online healing circle community that is going through some things and needs lots of love for themselves and for their parents and their spouse. and their children. I call in love for all of the people that are suffering across the globe, all of the places where unrest are erupting every day, the places we hear about frequently on the news, and the places that we don't hear about hardly at all, and the places that you don't even know exist. The places where there's war, the places where there's famine, the places where there's political corruption and total disregard for the people, the places where there's disregard for the land and for the earth. Mother Earth, Gaia, needs our love. It needs our healing to support us. And as you radiate this love, it literally strengthens your heart, and your energetic light expands within you. Your beautiful, beautiful sun, your beautiful soul, and your beautiful path that is perfect for yourself. And now we're going to take ourselves outside and you're standing outside in the winter, in the dark. The only light comes from the moon and the stars ahead. Just enough light and as you walk forward through the snow, you see a little clearing that looks like a good place to sit, but it's cold. So we're going to start a fire. So you gather firewood. The details are up to you. This is your soul journey. This is your soul path. We're going to gather a pile of firewood. And the sticks in the wood that we're finding are all different. Some are really easy to pick up. Some are almost stuck in the ground. Some are big, some are small. But we pick up all of these pieces of wood, and as we pick up each one, our heart is full of gratitude and thankfulness. And with each log, each stick, each piece of wood that you pick up, You feel the pile in your arms getting heavier, but you feel your strength growing at the same time. So you carry your wood over to where you're going to start your fire. And all of these pieces of wood is all of the preparation you've done this far to get where you are. So yes, this load is heavy, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength. But in the end, it works our muscles, it works our mind, it works our soul, and it makes us stronger. So we are thankful for our abundance of firewood, because it means that we have taken the preparations necessary. And as you start to put the pieces of wood in place, as you arrange them in a strategic way that to you will build the best fire for your future and what it is you're trying to do with it. There's different types of ways you can build a fire for different reasons, and that's exactly what we're doing here. We are building the fire that matches our life and matches our path. And once you've put your fire together and you have it all arranged the way you want it, it is now time to light the flame and ignite the fire. This is where we're at. It is now time to light the fire. Jupiter in Aries is literally telling us, light the fire. Do it. Move forward. It's going to help you. The winter solstice saying, the light is coming, the warmth and the heat is coming. Bring back the light. New moon in Capricorn at the end of this week is saying the light that has temporarily left the moon will come back. So as you ignite your fire, it doesn't take much effort. Up into flames it goes. So as you stand in this nice, cold, and dark, starry night, with not a sound around other than the crackling of the fire, we contemplate and we think about the action that we're going to be taking to bring back the light. to bring back the strength, to bring back the growth, to bring back the rebirth, to bring new intentions. Not only for this new lunar cycle coming up, but for next year, 2023. What do you want to bring forward? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? What are your dreams? What is your reality at this very moment? And what is the gap in between there? Because this fire is going to burn away that gap and allow the two to come closer together. The reality of where you are and where you want to be. You put in the preparation work. Now you're going to put in the action, and it's going to seem to flow so well because you are ready. You are prepared, and you are taking the actions that you have prepared for. So as we watch the fire and think about our future path, let's clear our mind for just a moment. And as you watch that fire, just see if maybe anything else comes to mind. Any little thoughts, any little messages, any little images in that fire. Bonfire meditations are some of my favorite. Just take in this moment in the way that is best fitting for you. Remember, these are practices that you can take what serves you and leave behind what does not resonate with you. You still have work to be done, but you have come so far, and all of your preparations are paying off. Stick with it when it's easy, when it's hard. Remember, you can always come back to your heart space where you hold the strength of your soul and everything that you've been through. And if you believe in reincarnation as I do, that strength transcends this life. Your soul is eternal and has lived many, many times. And all of that is within your heart space, within your soul, within your sun. Connecting with Jupiter in Aries, the planet of wisdom, the planet of expansion, of luck and abundance and blessings, Lord Jupiter, bless us. Acknowledge the work that we've done and bless us. This interaction in earth signs and fire sign, grounding and initiation, stability and movement. Can you find stillness in motion? And as you walk away from your fire, there's no need to extinguish it and put it out. As we walk away, we are confident and humble at the same time. We are thankful and gracious. We are strong yet sincere. And as you're walking away, you turn back for just a moment and you see that fire that you started, that you prepared for, that you knew you were going to need to survive and to have the path that you want. And you see it growing, and you remember that the light is coming back slowly. There is still work to be done. There are still long, dark days ahead of us, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see it, and you can feel it. We stay on the positive side of these energies, but we do not discredit that work needs to be done. Sometimes things are slightly less than ideal. So as this winter solstice comes and we have the longest, darkest day of the year, just know that it will end. And the sun will rise again, as it always does. And before we close, we come back to our heart space one more time. And we say thank you to ourselves and to the universe and to the guiding forces that are around us, to the planets, to God, to our ancestors, to our spirit guides, to those loved ones that have left us from this life already, those loved ones from our previous lifetimes that are still with us. We all have a whole crew behind us that we don't even know about consciously. And as we close, bring my hands together, palms touching, locked in at my heart space, locked in at my throat chakra. And as we remember that the light will come back, I say that the light in me that never goes away, never extinguishes, honors and recognizes the light in you that will never go out, that is your light and your light only. And when I start talking about our soul and our light, and I start feeling it, it just brings back that childhood song about this little light of mine, and I'm gonna let it shine. Because we all have a light within us, and that light deserves to shine. Namaste to you. Solstice blessings to you. Happy holidays. If this is not the happiest time of the year for you, we are making space for you and energy for you right now. Because a lot of people struggle for different reasons during the holiday season. So that deep breath is for those of you that feel alone during the holidays, because I can feel the heaviness of it when I say that and when I think about it. So, thank you, all of you, for joining me. I think I forgot to mention in the beginning, but I will just in case you don't already know. Every Tuesday I release an intention, first on the Meditative Astrologer Facebook page, and then it is distributed across social media. It's posted in the Facebook event that correlates with that week's meditation circle. And the intention always comes from the astrological guidance that I see by looking at the transits of the week, looking at where our planets are placed, looking at where the energy goes, and the intention really is guided by the sky and by the energies that I feel do not control us, but guide us towards our right path. And we always have the decision to go towards or away from something. So we always have our free will, and we always can make our own decisions about things. But when we follow along with where the universe is telling us to go, individually and collectively, remember, we chose this life. We chose our birth time. I firmly believe that we chose our path, and we knew everything that was going to happen. We knew. And perspective is so different on the other side. It has to be, right? So you have to know all of the transits that are going to happen in your life. You have to know all of the possibilities and everything that's going to play out. So that guidance from the planets, from the sky, is guidance from source, from the universe, but it's also guidance from ourselves. It's guidance that we have put there for ourselves to follow if we choose so. But we also gave ourselves the free will to decide whether or not we were going to follow that. So, that's my soapbox sermon. So, until next week, have a great day. Happy solstice again, happy holidays, all of that. and I will have a new moon video out hopefully tomorrow on YouTube. I gotta get better at this timing with recording things like that, but slow and steady, that's me, Taurus Sun. Takes a while to get started, but once I get started, I ain't stopping. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your week. Go forward. And be blessed.